Chauvin guilty on all charges. What are your thoughts? Genuinely honest legal question here. How do you get charged for second and third degree murder and manslaughter? I always thought since they're all different levels you'd pick the one that applies. Basically my question is why is manslaughter even there when second degree is much worse anyway, and why still use all three and convict on all three? I'm kinda surprised. I thought they'd nail him for manslaughter and third degree murder. But I didn't think they'd get second degree murder to stick. I think that the turning of his own department and chief against him in the case is indicative that Chauvin's on-camera case was such a difficult thing to defend that he was to become a sacrificial lamb in a sense. In order to defend the existing police establishment without significant change, they had to make a show of holding an officer accountable for crime. In this sense, I believe Chauvin is being used to diffuse public anger because he would have been a very hard case to justify, and the people's discontent was reaching a boiling point. I'd love to hear fellow Redditors' theories on this. I'm curious what comments the mods are deleting. Edit. I had this account for over a year and this comment tripled my karma LMFAO. Thank y'all. He deserved to be convicted. But I don't have the same joy and excitement a lot of people seem to have about it. Shitty situation top to bottom, and I don't find anything happy about it. I am extremely surprised. I'll admit, after watching closing arguments and bits and pieces of the trial, I believed the manslaughter charge was likely. It seemed there could be reasonable doubt on the murder charges, and I expected those to be an issue for the jury. I was shocked when both of the murder charges came through. Regardless of my opinion, I should stay off of social media for a bit. From a POV outside of the States. Emo, it makes no difference unless major changes are actually being reinforced and made. Keep filming the police people. It was because of Darnella Frazier filming that brought police brutality to the public stage and started many calls for police reform. Anyone else go straight to controversial. How can you be guilty of 3 different types of murder, with 1 death? Serious. He was a bad cop and deserved it. Hopefully this whilst give other bad cops a reason to pause and wonder if they will be the next. Chauvin might stop them from doing something reckless. Smartphones might be the cause of people not interacting face to face, but are a brilliant way of capturing injustices. Very surprised we actually got a conviction. Still waiting to hear what the sentencing will be. If he gets off with a light sentence, then it's not as impactful as it could be. If he essentially gets life in prison with the compounding charges, I think we will finally have gotten justice. It'll be interesting to see going forward whether this was a one-time thing or whether officers will start being held accountable for murdering unarmed black men. Good. Hopefully. This will be the beginning of better screening and training for police officers. There needs to be accountability, especially when people have a history of inappropriate and disproportionate behavior whilst in a position which requires trust and integrity. If someone has a history of concussions and I hit them in the head with a baseball bat and kill them, I don't get to say they died because of their history of concussions. I'm glad the jury realized that. If a man being held accountable for crimes he committed is a turning point for justice, the bar must be on the fucking floor. Thinking about how we all watched him murder George with our own eyes and we were still anxious about the verdict. I believe that justice has carried the day. Though this is not the end. There is still an urgent need for police reform. For our sake as citizens and their sake as officers of the law. We need civilian oversight. No more officers investigating themselves. We need mandatory body cams that are always recording. The technology is there to store a set amount of time, such as an hour before a button is pushed, which will save the set amount of time before the push. And everything after it. Officers will not have to remember to push it immediately. They will have an hour or more depending on the system to remember. We need mental health services in this country desperately. Better training for officers. And better pay too. We can't expect to pay them poverty wages and get the best of the best, it's fact. Unfortunately. We need a culture change. I'm glad. But I think this is one small step of many more needed in this country. I hope the police reform bill passes. Accountability is good. But we need more. I was surprised. I didn't expect more than manslaughter. But I'm extremely glad he got hit with murder too and it stuck. I feel two things. 1. Police should not longer be given a, well, I was doing my job, and hiding behind their badge for when they are working. Even then they do their job so poorly they literally kill a man. And 2. Police should be aware that there are finally consequences for such gross negligence.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.